Y'all, our largemouth bass population in our area is being slowly killed. That's what I want to talk about on today's video. I do have a special guest fishing with me today. His name is Jaden Potter.
Jaden is a student, a subscriber within my app, the Straight Up Fishing app. Y'all know the app is all about teaching people to fish.
So listen guys, if you ever want to go fishing with me, here's the way you can do it. For the last 3 months, I've been fishing with members inside of the Straight Up Fishing app. All you got to do is go to sufschool.com, join the app. Every season, when we get to a new technique, we're going to take people fishing so we can learn, so you can see it, feel it, touch it, everything that we're talking about in classes. Dude, without a doubt, I feel like our lakes, largemouth bass population in our lakes, if we're not careful, is going to be completely wiped out by these fish. I'm serious. They're going to be wiped out by this. Yeah, I got it. That line's laid on the water, bro. When I flipped it up there, it was just laying on the water. Just see it just laying loose. I was like, he got it. That's all it does when you throw up to the pylon. Oh, that's a big one too. When you throw there, it just lays on the water. They're always shallow. Look, he's beat up. Oh, he's ugly. Oh, that's okay. I got him. See, you can catch him. No, a lot of times it's just like the other fishing. He got AIDS or something though. He got AIDS. I don't know. He got herpes. Or... This is what happens. I don't even know if I want to grab him. Ooh. Yeah. That fish has got. Woo. I might need to walk. Ooh. I don't know if I want to put my hands in his mouth.
That one ain't going in the skillet.
No, we're not gonna put him in the skillet. I'll bring it home to my dad and see what he says. Funny thing is, that's probably, ooh, he stank too. Yeah. Ooh, I'm throwing him back, y'all. Ah, he stinks. We came out here, y'all, to fish these bridges. This is the train trestle here. Literally in 78 feet. Some of them are over 100 foot deep. A lot of these fish that you catch on them are in the first 10 foot of the water column. These fish have always and forever been out here since I've been coming here anyway. Okay, so what I was talking about when I say these fish aren't supposed to be here, what's wiping out our bass, I'm talking about the spotted bass. And we've called them spotted bass over the years, but what they really are, we're supposed to call them the Alabama bass. That's what it really is. They're native to regions of lower Alabama. I think there's 2 or 3 rivers where that fish is supposed to be, but of course, the good almighty human, we think we're being conservationists. We brought them up into our area here in the Carolinas. Am I recording or no? Yeah, I got one. That's a smaller one there. I feel his head shaking. He ain't got no disease. Hey, we got a clean bass this time. We got a clean bass. I like the, oh, look at him spitting up all the shad. You see, he was on the sunny side. Like all conventional wisdom would tell you to throw, you got one, or is that just me moving? Conventional wisdom would tell you to fish that shady side, and a lot of times they do get on the shady side. But sometimes they just get where they get, period. That's a perfect little eater right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I guess I shouldn't have done that with you standing right there. That's all I had to do was lay the fish in there, didn't I? I did. I always gotta be a little extra. I could have easily just laid the fish in there. I had the basketball in. Hey, real quick. This year I'm actually sponsoring 2 fishermen. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to pay the entry fees, tournament entry fees, provide gear and tournament support for 2 anglers to fish the BFLs. Here's how you win that. You got to be a part of my Straight Up Fishing community, my Straight Up Fishing school, where I teach people how to be a better fisherman. Not only do you learn fishing lessons from me, but sometimes we bring in other professionals to talk about specific techniques, baits, and even talk about new gear that's hitting the market before most people even know about it. So join the community. Check the description box for more details about how you can be a sponsored angler. Okay, so back to my story about spotted bass. I'm seeing them in places that I haven't seen them before. And these fish, they're literally erasing the largemouth bass population in nearly almost all of our lakes, in my opinion. The scary part, this is the scary part for me. The scary part is they're so hardy. I mean, Alabama bass, spotted bass, the true Alabama bass are so freaking hardy. They can live, I feel like they can live anywhere. I'm finding them in rivers. I'm finding, of course, any type of lake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, like a smallmouth bass, it's very unlikely for somebody to transplant smallmouth bass into your lake and then they take that lake over. You just don't, you don't see that. But the spotted bass, if you put those in a lake, well, you just pick your worm back up. You've been jigging and jerking and doing everything else. Yeah, you've been doing all. You gotta get something to stick with it out here, especially when it gets slow. You have to just calm down, just let it come to you. Yeah, you have to just, when the slower the fishing you get, the more focus you have to get on one bait. But I mean, it's all good to try stuff too now. That's not wrong to try stuff. You ain't doing nothing wrong is what I'm saying. You're not doing nothing wrong. Unless you think it's wrong. Meaty me. Oh, look at them. Look at them, boys and girls. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, women and children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly presents to you. Did you ever watch wrestling?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Do you remember D-Generation X? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Dude, we lived in the greatest era. Oh, yes. Shawn Michaels. Badass Billy Gunn. The new age outlaw. Undertaker? Yeah, he's a cool dude. But he talks about how they would have signs and stuff to, you know, to give to each other when they needed to tap out or when they actually hurt or something. That's a rough game, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we know it.
With largemouth, in my opinion, largemouth are all but diminished, generally speaking. Of course, you would occasionally go out on the main lake and maybe catch a largemouth on the main lake, but for the most part, largemouth fishing is now diminished to fishing in the creeks. Let's just like stay in water or in the creeks, the upper reaches of any lake, Lake Hartwell, Clarks Hill. You're pretty much, if you're on the main drag of most of our lakes now, you're probably going to be catching spotted bass. But the hard part about it, this is what makes them so dangerous. This is what makes them so destructive to our lakes, is the fact that spotted bass, you'll catch him in the creek, way up yonder in the current, and then they can also survive out in the middle of the lake. So you can catch a spotted bass from 1 foot all the way. I've caught them as deep as 70 feet. I've caught them in the creeks before, all the way where it gets muddy and blown out. But then you know for a fact when you're fishing the main lake, you're fishing for spotted bass at that point. The spotted bass techniques and tactics and lures, and you're thinking like how a spotted bass lives. I don't know if everybody is ready to hear what I got to say, but I would love to give you my perspective of why spotted bass are so destructive to our lakes and why they're taking over so easily, seemingly why they can live anywhere, any lake, like you cannot transport these bass. They're too dangerous. They're dangerous to anybody's fishery. I want to, like, from a fisherman's perspective, just talk about the 3 things that I feel like makes this fish so dangerous to our lakes. Now, I'm not a biologist, of course. I know a little bit about the biology of bass and how they react to the environment around them, so forth. But I do, like, there's 3 things that I thought, uh-oh, Jaden, you're back in the game, buddy. Jaden is back in the game. He's back in it. We got him to put down his jigs, and now he's catching bigs. Not too big, but it's big enough. It's big enough for a meat locker.
Oh yeah.
Everything I'm about to say is from a fisherman's perspective about why I think this bat, like, they're destructive. They've been They're destructive to the ecology of the lakes as we know them. Okay, so what I was talking about, number one, they're sight feeders. All of our lakes in the upstate, they're clear. All of our lakes, they're clear, they're deep. There's a lot of contour here. So spotted bass are great sight feeders. They can see, they're very aware. You can see that just especially from our forward facing sonar, very aware of their surroundings. And so the fact that they're sight feeders and we have a lot of clear water. Now they can live in the creek, but they really thrive in clear water. I think that's because they're very fast swimmers. Second thing I think is abundant high protein food, the blueback herring. Since we have so many blueback herring and our lakes are absolutely chock full of shad, I think just the fact that we have so much shad, so much high protein, like a blueback herring, that is a high protein. Like that's the filet mignon of any lake that they live in. If you have any lake and it's got blueback herring, they're going to eat in it. Well, blueback herring do very well in clear bodies of water. So we got sight feeders, we got clear water, and we have a pelagic bait fish that can live anywhere from the bank to out to 60, 70, 80, 100 foot of water. It's like the perfect storm, the perfect habitat for these fish to just kind of spread like wildfire, like fire ant. I had him. He got it again, small one. Might be those perch. Come on, I think that's a perch. Got it again. Little perch, I bet. A little spot. Oh, it's an eater. He's an eater. That's an eater. Meat man. Yeah, that's me. Tender meat. Filet. That's not a fillet, that's a filet. The country people around here, that's what they call it. They got a couple crappy filets. Okay, what else was I talking about? I talked about the clear water. I talked about abundant food. The last thing is the way they spawn, which I think this is something that nobody's really exploring. So spotted bass,
Yeah,
I've seen them spawn in such a wide variety of water temperatures, from low 50s, mid 50s, all the way to probably 80. So basically they start spawning in March and they'll go all the way until May. These fish are spawning. And here's the thing, this is the number one thing that I think makes them so dangerous right here. They spawn so deep. They spawn, I mean, a spotted bass, I don't know how deep they do spawn, but in our lakes, you're catching spawners in 10 to 12 feet. I don't see very many of them on beds. There's not that many brim. There ain't that many shell. There's not that many natural predators that deep. You see what I'm saying? So their fry has a better chance of surviving than any other species of fish. The Alabama bass is coming to a lake near you. Trust, the Alabama bass is coming to a lake near you very soon. And if it's not controlled, you will see your largemouth bass population decline over time. Let me know, where you live, do you see spotted bass in your lake or river? Let me know in the comment section.